Wyoming forests, 2007, winter. Rosalie never intended to stop. She was hunting, alone, as she often did when the world suffocated her with constant reminders of what she could never have. Motherhood was an open wound that didn't heal with time. It just grew quieter. The snow covered the ground like a white shroud. The trees were silent, and in that silence, she heard it. A cry. Not an animal, not an echo, a human cry. Rosalie followed it. Her steps left no trace. Her breath made no mist. The sound came from a clearing, and in the center, wrapped in a dirty blanket, a tiny creature trembled. A baby, newborn, abandoned. Her lips were purple, her skin almost without a pulse. Rosalie froze. Everything in her nature told her to flee, to call someone, to not touch. But something stronger, older, more broken made her kneel and take the baby in her arms. The child stopped crying and opened her eyes. They were violet. "You're crazy," was the first thing Emmett said when Rosalie arrived with the bundle wrapped in her coat. "I couldn't leave her." "What do you think you're going to do? Raise her here? With us? In a house full of thirst?" Rosalie looked at him. No pleading, no asking for permission. "Yes." Carlisle and Esme supported her. "Maybe it's temporary," Carlisle said. "We can check if someone comes forward. And if not, she's ours," Esme added with a tenderness only a lost mother could understand. Edward wasn't convinced. What if it's not a coincidence? "What do you mean? That a baby ends up alive, alone, in the middle of the woods, isn't random." "You think someone left her on purpose?" Jasper asked. Edward didn't answer. He just listened to thoughts he couldn't quite understand. Rosalie named her Liliana, cared for her devotedly. Emmett kept his distance for the first few days, but was won over when the baby grabbed his finger. Alice bought clothes, toys, furniture, everything necessary. And little by little, the Cullen house filled with sounds they had never known. Laughter, crying, lullabies. Time passed, and then they noticed. Liliana was growing, but too slowly. At 6 months, she still looked like a newborn. At 3 years, she looked like a 1-year-old. But she spoke fluently, memorized books, drew faces with unsettling precision. Bella and Edward, with Renesmee growing beside them, began to notice similarities. But there were differences. Renesmee's heart beat fast. Liliana's beat very slowly. Renesmee sparkled in the sun. Liliana didn't. And most importantly, Liliana dreamed and remembered. One night, looking like a 5-year-old, Rosalie found her sitting by the piano. "What are you doing, sweetheart?" "I was waiting for Edward to come play." "You like how he plays?" Liliana nodded. Then she said something that made Rosalie drop her cup. "Sometimes I see him in my dreams, but younger and sad." Rosalie knelt. "What exactly do you see?" "Him and you, but it's darker, and someone calls me by another name." "What name?" The girl frowned. "I don't remember, but it wasn't Liliana. It started with E or L, I don't know, but it scared me and made me feel warm at the same time." From then on, they started searching for answers. Carlisle researched old hybrid cases, nomadic vampire travels, stories of creatures that aged differently. They found nothing, until an envelope arrived by mail. No return address, no location, just one handwritten sentence. "You cannot protect her forever. Her lineage predates yours." And in the bottom corner, an embossed mark. Not Volturi, not known, a forgotten symbol, an incomplete circle, and inside, a vertical eye. Rosalie kept the letter, said nothing to the child, just held her as she slept, and for the first time since she was turned, she cried, because she understood that Liliana was not hers, never had been, but she was willing to face the entire world to keep her from being taken from her arms. And somewhere in the north, someone awoke, thirsty, powerful, and with memory, and that being wanted their daughter back. Forks. 3 days later, Bella didn't return to school. Charlie noticed the change, but she barely spoke to him. Her skin was getting colder every day. Her dark eyes seemed to grow with insomnia, and her reflection in the mirror blinked a second too late. She was afraid of herself, but more than that, of everything she could no longer deny. Edward never left her side, not out of compassion or duty, but because he was terrified. Not of what Bella might become, but of what she already was. Carlisle examined her blood again, the little that still flowed. "It's not vampire venom," he explained, "but it's not human blood either. It's older, more encoded, as if her body remembers what shouldn't be possible." "Do you think she was turned at birth?" Esme asked. "No," Carlisle replied. I think she was conceived for this. Her existence is an aberration that has defied centuries of natural law. Alice had confusing visions. She never saw Bella, only white light, fire, darkness all around. But one day, between flashes, she saw a walled city, a figure cloaked in red, and a voice saying, "She belongs to us." Bella confronted Renee over the phone. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" Silence. "What am I?" Renee trembled as she replied, "They left you in my arms, wrapped in black silk. No name, no mother, only an amulet on your neck and a letter written in Latin. They gave you to me as a charge, and they said, one day they would come for you." Who? The ones who live forever. That same night, a figure appeared outside the Cullen house. It didn't walk, it glided. Red eyes, dark hair, a robe with no seams. Edward was the first to arrive, Jasper the second. "My name is Lorien," the figure said calmly. "I didn't come to fight, I came to take back what is mine." "She belongs to no one," Edward snapped. Lorien smiled. "Then you don't know her true name yet." Volterra. Aro received the message with a wide grin. So Lorien got there first. Marcus from the shadows murmured, "He was her creator, wasn't he?" Aro nodded. "Not by bite, by blood, by alchemy, by a mistake they called a prophecy." "And what will he do now?" Aro crushed his crystal goblet in his hand. "He'll try to bring her back to the Dark Line. But the Shadow Girl is not a possession. She's free fire, and she'll burn or shine depending on who embraces her first." Bella fled, not with the Cullens, not with Lorien, alone. She wandered into the forests for days, without eating, without sleeping, just feeling every cell in her body awaken. She could see in the dark, hear the thoughts of birds. She knew when it would rain, when a tree would die, and also when someone was following her. Lorien appeared beside her without violence. "I'm not your enemy. Who am I?" she asked. Lorien knelt. "You are Benedetta, daughter of balance, the cross between humanity and the eternal, a being not born to obey vampires or men." "And what do you want from me?" Lorien looked at her with pride and pain. "Nothing. Just for you to remember you don't need to choose a side, because you are a third path," Bella returned, not with answers, but with clarity. The Cullens welcomed her. Edward embraced her. And for the first time, she held him tighter. "Are you still you?" he asked. Bella nodded. "Yes, only now I know I'm not your creation, not their mistake, not their prophecy." "Then what are you?" "I'm the crack in the rules, and the proof that the future no longer looks like the past." In Volterra, Aro looked north with unease, because something new had been born. And it wasn't a girl, nor a shadow, it was a queen, and she had yet to discover her kingdom.